Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. It seems like someone is shitting his pants and it's not you or I. Those are the people involved in Ukraine war on the side of the West. And why? It's because Russia gathers some bombers, and that's not good news because those bombers are serious bombers, not Sukhoi 24 or something like that, like weasel bombers. No. These are the strategic bombers, the ones that Karpik bomb. All right, so let's see what's going on here. There are two, I'm assuming it's Tu-95MS. 95MS. Those are these beauties. You recognize them? I do. They have constant flights over the Pacific and over the around how do you call that, Alaska. These are the ones. So this article comes from the New Voice of Ukraine from today, December 1st, 2022. Now, from Tupelov, 95MS strategic bombers seen gathering in Russia. Threat of missile strikes on Ukraine, says General Staff. Well, you've been saying that these guys are gathering more and more to attack you and start a massive attack. Fortunately for you, according to your intelligence agencies, services, whatever you want to call them, however, you say that Russia does not have more than 3 to 4 massive missile attacks, and then they will be like scot-free, nothing, zero, bye-bye. They're gonna start picking flowers in the fields, according to you, which I do not believe. But let's go. Let's see what's going on. And I'm quoting: there is a threat of enemy's missile strikes on the critical infrastructure of Ukraine and military facilities in the nearest future, end quote. Deputy Chief of the Main Operational Directorate of the General Staff, Oleksiy Hromov. Man, I don't know. Let me give you this. I found so many, very strange, so many Oleksiy, which it's the Alexander, I'm guessing in Slavonic and Ukrainian, Oleksiy, so many Oleksiy, Reznikov, Oleksiy, this Oleksiy, Ignato, whatever, there are Oleksiys many. It's very surprising. And the other ones are Vladimir, or Sergei. They're just like 4 or 5 names four names I would say, that I hear about continuously, the first names. The aim, and I'm quoting, the aim of the enemy's actions is to cause panic among the population to destabilize the internal situation. No, the goal, the aim is to fuck you up. That's what it is, not to cause panic. It's to stop you and want you to tell your boss across the Atlantic, the Zimbabweans, tell them, hey guys, I think we're not with you anymore. Let's stop here. Let's do this, stop this, make it neutral. Give the weapons away, write some, internationally recognized, treaties where nobody's going to attack nobody, and if someone attacks, then the other ones have the right to blow the other ones up, and so on. But you see, we have Minsk 1 and Minsk 2, and the Ukrainians did not implement those agreements. So then how much trust they have? Not much, I would say. And you have Poroshenko, or whatever his name is, the former Ukrainian president, who said that Poroshenko, whatever his name is, we just signed those Minsk agreements 1 and 2 just to buy time so we arm ourselves and get trained by NATO troops, by the Americans and NATO. Oh, okay. And the Russians did not know that. And then you say, well, we're not militarized. Really? Okay. He said that during the week, the crews of Tupelov 95MS strategic bombers performed flights in the airspace of Russia's Saratov, Samara and Orenburg Oblast, as well as in the airspace of the eastern part of Russia and the Belarus Sea. Not Belarus, what the fuck? I was like, Belarus Sea. I never heard of Belarus Sea. Barents Sea. I have to confess to you, I don't know what Barents Sea is. Probably something in, I don't know, Barents, never heard of it, my bad. And believe me. So, and I'm quoting, the crews of 2 Il-78 long-range refueling aircraft were involved in practicing refueling in the air, Hromov added. And I'm quoting again, The military transport aviation of the aggressor state performed the tasks of moving personnel, weapons and military equipment, stocks and materials and technical means to the airfields of Milerovo, Rostov-on-Don, Central and Taganrog. Now let me see this. I can't live like this. I have to find out where that sea is right now, because I need to learn. And I really don't know, and I don't think it's embarrassing. Probably it's a little area of I don't know, Azov or Caspian Sea or something like that. Let's go and see. I assume it's in Caspian or whatever, but let's see. Maybe it's not. Paste, and we got here, and it is. Come on, come on! Holy macaroni! It's not even there. It's in the. It's by the coast of Finland. If you go between Finland and North Pole, that's where it's at. Let me see if I can show you here. It's gonna show like BS. If you're familiar with geography, you understand where it's at. All right, you see that over there? That over there, it's the Nordic states, Sweden, Norway and Finland on the other side over there. So that's where this is. And then we got Iceland somewhere over there, Greenland and all that. And this is Europe. This is, oops, this here, Jesus Christ. And then you got Russia over here. And then you got Europe on the other side. That's Ukraine, where I have my finger right there. So there, the whole thing is happening in the north. Right here, this Berian, whatever sea, whatever they said it is. So, okay, Barents Sea. So it's part of a sea, of another sea, or North Sea, or whatever they call it. Oh, we learned something today. Good. Earlier, National Security and Defense Council Secretary Oleksiy Danilov, another Oleksiy Alexander, said that Ukrainians should not live in constant expectation of missile attacks by the Russian military. According to German new publication Der Spiegel, there is activity at Russia's Eagles II airfield in Saratov Oblast, and in all likelihood Russia is preparing for a new mass missile strike on Ukraine. You bet, I can tell you that too. I think that's what's going to be, and they still have missiles, and winter is coming, and that's not the good news. I spoke with someone in Romania today, about 2 hours ago or so, and she said, well, you know, these guys are saying here that Russia is weaponizing winter to win in Ukraine. I said, okay, yeah, so what's new? Oh, okay. I said, remember when they used to come and surround cities or castles, and they would just starve the people over there until they would surrender, show their underwear, and say, peace, we surrender, or they would not surrender and they would eat one another, and they would get cholera, whatever, they get diseases and die and all that. Remember that? Okay, even though Saladin did that with Jerusalem, if I remember correctly, during the Crusades, right? And he said, well, I'm going to spare all but those guys. All right, everybody out. What did the Crusaders do before Saladin? They massacred the whole fucking town. So that tells you who had a little bit more humanity. The Christians or the Muslims in that case. Anyway, I'm not rooting for any of them, because when you kill in the name of a divinity, I think it's, I don't know, killing in the name of Humpy Dumpy, or I don't know, something like that. Well, that my bad. Anyway, we have this, the Russians doing what they do best, which is trying to win against the coalition that opposes it and wants to destroy it. On the territory of Ukraine, trying to drain these guys out. And I don't think the Russians didn't even start. I remember one time when about 2 months ago, when the Ukrainians conducted that successful counter-offensive, and they took territories here, territories there and all that, and the West was like, yeah man, yeah. And what did Putin say? He said, yes, that's true, yeah, it's a setback, but we'll see until the end. We'll see how it ends. That's what we say. We'll see how it ends. That means, yeah, okay, yeah, it's like not even half time right now. So you're already, you scored is 10-0, and you scored one time is 10-1, and you're all, we're winning. You still have 9 goals to score, baby doll, and it's not over yet, and we're gonna fuck you up. And I think that's the case. I don't think the Russians did not, I don't think they use they used, I don't even want to say 10% of its capabilities. That's what I think. Why? These guys were ready for this. They knew this would come. They told the Americans, and Americans were ready, but it's a difference. These guys are saying, oh, we'll fight for our country now. It's the end of the whatever. And these guys are, well, we're just going to have to kneel that country. So it's always a different mentality. And who has a mentality of defending their turf? In this case, that's how Russia's seeing it. Like, oh, these guys are all against us. And we have a coalition against one. That makes you even angrier. Why? Because you say, why are these weasels in? They're all cowards, because that's more than one. And this guy's alone, and he smacks them around. Keeps them at bay, not smacks them around. But you say, well, but if NATO wants to do something, they will not do shit. Why? Because, you know, we have a pussified society here that immediately as they don't have Coca-Cola or the beer or the TV with the games over there, or with the little stupid programs that these guys are feeding them to stay over there glued to the TV, they will not move their butts. Once you take one of those things, Coca-Cola or the beer, oh God forbid, then you're done. Done as a government. They will go in the street and they will do what they do best. Yell and scream and act like bitches. That's what they do. So anyway, I'm just generalizing and making, you know, to sound like that, but making it in a kind of a joking light. Basically, that's what it is. As long as these guys still have their basic moronic necessities covered, they're all good. They're all good. They don't, and it's not they, like these ones, but especially these guys, because they lived in comfort and abundance, which is not anything that I would, oh my God, it's, you know, it's bad because you lived in abundance. It's bad because easy environments, or, you know, abundant environments create weak organisms. So when the winds start blowing, those organisms will perish because they're not ready. They're not ready to adapt. They're weak. So unfortunately, that's what really is. And I saw this actually in my Kyokushin karate fighting and experience. The ones that you really had, you know, hardcore fighters were the guys from Belarus, were the guys from Ukraine, the guys from Russia, the guys from Hungary, the guys from Poland, the guys from Romania, the guys from these guys. Not that if you meet a German or a British, not that they didn't have good fighters and so on. No, but in general, if you would go over there and you practice with them, there's too many pussies around. Weak. Yeah, they have some of them, and some of them were immigrants from the countries I mentioned. So you find a Tomoshchuk, and he's the national champion of Germany, like in 1997, when I fought in Berlin. The German national champion was a Turk. He was speaking Turkish. He was an immigrant. He was a Turkish guy. He was the national champion of Germany. He was the guy, for example. But anyway, and I remember when I fought here in America, and I had my black belt, my third degree examination, the toughest guys were the Poles. Poles, immigrants from Poland, from Chicago, Illinois. Those were the good ones. And Hungarians, I met some Hungarians here. Those were the old style. The Americans and those guys were all form and beautiful and all this. But when it was about, let's fucking do it, I don't want to insult anybody. This is direct experience. And I'm talking about generalities. So let's say from 10 Poles that I found, 9 were tough. 1 was not as tough. But from, let's say, Americans, it's the other way around. I found 1 tough and 9 not as tough. Of Canadian, the same. If the Canadians had immigrants, again, the immigrants were most like this. If you got a Canadian, you got this I'm sharing with you. I'm not saying this to look down on anybody. But that's why when I'm talking about this war over there, I'm putting in the same context with a society that I rub, you know, elbows and shoulders with every day. And I see how they are. If they didn't take their lunch, oh my God, I'm hungry. And they're all with fucking bottled water all the time. I don't want to get dehydrated. Fuck off. That tells you something. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.